Welcome back to Rima Reads. So I am going to do the mid-year book Freakout tag today, which is the hottest tag on BookTube right now, and it's so much fun. I'm very excited to do it. I know I'm really late to the curve because it is July and like way past the mid-year, but who cares? I'm gonna do it anyways. So I've read 41 books so far this year. My goal is 50, so like killing it. Yes, I did do a lot of rereads, so we'll talk about that in a bit, but like, yeah. Question number 1 is the best book you've read this year so far. And like I mentioned, I've done a lot of rereads. Like some of the books I've reread this year are Rhythm of War, one of my faves, Six of Crows duology, another fave, the Graceling Realms books, another fave. So like I've reread a lot of my faves, and those are definitely like the best books. So discounting those, some of the other books I really love this year, and this is hard because I've read a lot of good books this year. I really loved Know My Name by Chanel Miller. That might be one of the best nonfiction books I've ever read. It is so good. Also really liked The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. It just brought me happy emotions, and I was like, ooh, what are these feelings inside? And then I also really liked Jade War by Fonda Lee. That was phenomenal. I was just, oh my god. So those are some of the books. There are a lot of really good books I've read this year, but those are some of the top. Number 2 is the best sequel you've read this year. And I just mentioned it, Jade War by Fonda Lee. It was so good, y'all. I was just like, the entire time I was reading, I was like, oh my god, I love these characters so much. So number 3 is new releases you haven't yet read, but you want to. And like, that's like everything. There are so many books I have not yet read. My TBR is insane. So a lot of new books. Constantly adding all the new books. But I did get, and here we go, I did get The Shadow of Gods by John Gwynne, and this was a gift from the lovely Robin over at Robin Reads, so thank you so much, Robin. So this is probably the newest release, because I think it came out in like March, I don't know, sometime this year, and so very excited to get to this book. So number 4 is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And again, so many books. Most of them are sequels. So like the Taz graphic novel Crystal Kingdom comes out in like 2 weeks, which I'm so hyped about. I started re-listening to the podcast because I was forcing my friend to listen to it. And I was just like, I was having so many emotions, guys. I was just like, I love this podcast so much. So I'm very excited to read the graphic novel because they've been doing such a good job with the graphic novels. So the Taz graphic novel is probably the one that's coming out the soonest. Couple other anticipated reads are Jade Legacy, which is the 3rd book in the Greenbone saga. Very excited for that. I think that's coming out in December. I'm also excited about Titanic by Brandon Sanderson, because y'all don't know I love Brando Sando. Read all his books, so very excited for the end. Is it the end? Is it a trilogy? I don't actually know if Skyward is a trilogy or not. I think it's the end. Anyways, very excited for more Skyward. There are many books I am looking forward to, so those are just a couple. There are way more. Very excited to read. Number 5 is biggest disappointment. So what book was your biggest disappointment? That one was definitely Lore by Alexandra Brecken. I think it's the lowest book on my that I've read so far. I only give it 2 stars. And it's just like boring. I thought it was gonna be like the Hunger Games, but it was boring and it made no sense. And I was very confused and I didn't like it. And it was a disappointment. So I can't believe I spent my time reading that book. Anyways, disappointment. Number 6 is the biggest surprise. So I generally like pick up books that I know I'm gonna like. Like, I don't read books that I'm like hesitant on whether or not I would like it, because I just have so much to read that I want to pick up books I think I'm gonna like. So nothing was like a surprise to me that like, oh, I'm surprised it was a good book, because like I expect you to be a good book. And so like biggest surprise, I guess maybe like Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater. Like, it was a surprise in the fact that I had no idea where it was going, and I still don't know if I liked it or not. Like, I'm still processing this book. It's been like 2 months since I read it and I'm still processing. And I think I'm going to continue to process until the third book comes out. Like, I have no idea how I feel about this book, which is wild because I love the Raven Cycle series. It's amazing. And I loved Call Down the Hawk. I thought it was great. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad book, but there was a lot that happened in that book, and I'm very attached to these characters, and I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about this, so we're gonna put it on pause. So I guess that was the biggest surprise, because I did not expect to come out of that book with all of these mixed feelings. Number 7 is newest favorite author. Like, from the books I read this year, I don't think I discovered too many new authors. I really liked Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, but I have read her things in the past, Trail of Lightning series, but I read that a couple of years ago. I'm waiting on the third book. So she was an author I already knew about. Robert Jackson Bennett, I started loving him from the Foundry Side series, and I thought Divine Cities was good, but I don't know, he's not my favorite either. I am curious to read more of TJ Klune stuff since I really liked The House on the Cerulean Sea, but I can't say he's a favorite author because I've only read one of his works. So no new faves, but new authors that I'm interested in following, and I'll keep up with them. So the next one is the newest fictional crush, and I don't think I have any new fictional crushes. I think all of my fictional crushes are the same. I reread Rhythm of War, which obviously you done know, Kaladin Stormblessed, Love of My Life. I reread Six of Crows, which you done know, Anish Gaffa, Other Love of My Life. And then I love Hilo from the Greenbone Saga so much. He's great. Any other crushes that I had this year? I don't think so. But all of those are old crushes. They're not new. They've just intensified like they do always. Anyways, number 9, newest favorite character. So I read the first 3 books of the Murderbot Diaries, and I really love Murderbot. I think just fun protagonists. Love them so much. Hilarious. I also really and I'm going to mispronounce their names, Zemina and Sapiro from Black Sun. I thought they were really fun. Number 10 is books that made you cry. And the book that made me cry the most this year is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I sobbed a lot during that book. I just couldn't hold it back. I read it all in one night and I was just a mess. It's an amazing book. But it's really heavy, a lot of sensitive topics, and I was just my girl has been through so much, and I just kept crying every time I read about her trauma. I was just no. So I sobbed a lot while reading that book. Other books I cried during, I don't think I cried on my reread of Rhythm of War. I definitely cried on the first time I read it, but I can't remember if I cried on my reread. I did cry on my reread of the Six of Crows duology. Not even when it was sad. Sometimes I just started tearing up because I was just I love them so much, and I was having emotions. It was wild. I was who dis? Why is she having emotions? But yeah, I was having emotions. But yeah, I think those are the books this year that have made me cry. The number 11 is a book that made you happy. So definitely A House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. That was definitely the book that made me the happiest. It's just so cute and adorable, and I loved it. Other things, the 2 manga I've read this year, I've read Koretto Ashi no Koto ni Shita, and then Spy X Family. I don't think you actually say the X. I think it's Spy and Family, but I like saying the X. So Spy X Family. Both of those manga are just really fun, really cute, make me very happy when I read them. Those are my happy books of the year. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you got this year. So I think I have 2 for this one. So the first one is Rape Bearer by Jordan Afinko. I still need to read this book, but I got it as a gift from Lyra, and I love this cover. It's so gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love it. And then the other one that I think is beautiful is Winter Keep by Christine Keshore. I think it's such a pretty cover. All the colors, it's beautiful. So those 2 are probably my favorite books that I've gotten this year. Beautiful covers, love them. And then number 13 is books you want to read by the end of the year. And that's like all of the books. I have so many books. So many books I need to read by the end of the year. I have all those series that I need to finish up, so I'm still waiting on The Burning God by R. F. Kwan, so I can finish up the Poppy Wars series. A couple other series that I talked about earlier, my anticipated reads, want to read those. And then I also own a lot of books that I haven't read. I'm not used to like owning books that I haven't read, but booktube's been bad for me, y'all. I've bought more books. And so it's kind of freaking me out that I have so many books that I own and I haven't read. And so I really want to get through them because I don't like it. I don't like having these books that I haven't read. And so I'm going to try and get through those books as well. So like I mentioned, Raybearer and Shadow of Gods and a whole bunch of other ones that I just have sitting around in my house. So I'm going to try and get through all of those books as well. And yeah, those are all of the questions of the mid-year book freakout tag. And I think I successfully freaked out during this tag. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. And I don't think this is a tag that you actually tag people in. At least I wasn't tagged and I haven't seen anyone tag anyone. But you're tagged if you want to be tagged. Do this tag. It's so much fun. I love it so much. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Bye!